How about that cigar?
How about that cigar?
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Drew Estate Cigar Studios for episode 151.
151
of How About That Cigar Live. We are so grateful to you guys for joining us live on Facebook, live on YouTube, and for those of you listening after the fact on the audio podcast, we want to thank you as well for listening while you drive down the road, workout, whatever it is you do when you listen to your favorite audio podcast. Thank you so much for making How About That Cigar a part of it. And as always, we are here in the beautiful Drew Estate Cigar Studios with a little bit of remodeling going on right now. But nonetheless, we want to talk about the fantastic return of Drew Estate's Barn Smoker program coming back in 2022, and it's going to be bigger and better than ever before. The 2022 Barn Smoker program will consist of these 5 epic and memorable events in Claremont, Florida, May 13th and 5th through the 15th, in Strasburg, Pennsylvania, July 15th and 16th. Ellington, Connecticut will be on August 12th through the 14th. Hopkinsville, Kentucky, September 30th through October 1st, and the Big Savage Feast in Parker, Texas, October 21st and 22nd. On the Friday night before every Barn Smoker event, Drew Estate will host a DE25 exclusive pre-party where attendees will be the first to experience new cigar launches from Drew Estate. The DE25 exclusive pre-parties will allow Drew Estate to share the excitement of the 25-year milestone with more people in an intimate setting with fantastic food and incredible live entertainment. For more information about the 2022 Barn Smokers, including a full breakdown of the ticket tier prices and options, please visit barnsmoker.com. So, episode 151, the lovely sign behind us, remodeling underway. And it was what, 60-ish something.
It was gorgeous.
We're not used to this. We're used to snow and ice, and
yeah, when we can say it's gorgeous in the
Yeah.
high 50s, 60s.
yeah,
That's
when we get to go to places like Miami and Las Vegas, where we get very spoiled very quickly because it's usually not so nice around here. So spring training is well underway, which we're very, very excited, because we were so sad that we were thinking the baseball season was going to be shut down. But
so many moves are being made in a lot of sports.
yes,
So our Twins are making moves. The Wild
are making moves. We picked up Fleury,
dude,
like over the past 12 years, one of the best
goaltenders
in the NHL, and all of a sudden we have him.
Yeah.
So now did we dump one?
I didn't hear that we dumped any.
So that means we've got Talbot and Kakkonen
and
Fleury. That's okay. And then there was another guy we picked up from Anaheim whose name escapes me.
Yep.
But then the Twins are making moves. NFL teams, tons of NFL moves.
Oh my gosh.
Like teams there are so many moves going on that I never expected. These are some high profile, like
Atlanta. That's the one.
Yeah, Matt Ryan goes to the Colts,
and then
they pick up, who did they pick up?
They picked up
I can't
gosh.
I can't even
not
remember.
Geno Smith, but
yeah, I'm not
somebody in that caliber where I was just like, what are you doing?
Yeah, I'm not
Atlanta?
remembering right now. They're basically committing to the rebuild.
Yeah, 100%.
And the Green Bay Packers paid Aaron Rodgers a lot of money, and now he's got nobody to throw the ball to.
And you're losing players on defense.
And we're losing players on defense. So
your rock star linebacker is coming over to Minnesota.
Yeah. I don't know. What are you going to do? It is what it is. It'll be a fun season, though. Baseball. I'm thinking about baseball. Right now. I'm very excited to go see some live baseball this summer when it's warm out. As always, guys, let us know what you are smoking and drinking along with us in the comments. We're going to have our special guest on in just a few minutes. And as always, of course, if you have questions and comments along the way, leave those in the comments too. So let's jump right into it, and let's get to our special guest of the evening. And on How About That Cigar Live, special guests are always brought to us by our friends at Corona Cigar Company. Corona Cigar Company and coronacigar.com, the internet's largest and easiest to use virtual cigar store. Corona Cigar Company offers you the finest handmade cigars, humidors, and cigar accessories at the absolute lowest possible price. You'll also find unique and limited cigars containing Florida sun-grown tobacco. As a proud American, president and founder of Corona Cigar Company, Jeff Borshowitz believed it was possible to bring cigar tobacco farming back to Florida. At Corona Cigar Company and coronacigar.com, you'll find the best selection anywhere in the world of cigars containing this special Florida sun-grown tobacco. If you live in Florida or are just visiting, be sure to visit any of the great Corona Cigar locations in downtown Orlando, Sand Lake, Lake Mary, and also the Davidoff of Geneva Lounge in Tampa. For more info on all of that, please visit coronacigar.com and floridasungrown.com. So, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, if you would please put your hands together and welcome to episode 151 of How About That Cigar Live from El Artista Cigars, Mr. Ram Rodriguez. Welcome to the show.
How's it going, guys?
It is
Good,
a
man.
beautiful day, brother. Thank you so much for being with us tonight, man.
Thank you, guys. I'm happy to be here.
Fantastic. So before we jump into things, please let us know what you are smoking. And if you're drinking anything along with that cigar, let us know that as well.
So today I'm smoking a cimarrón, but not one most of the people are used to see. This is a cimarrón prensado. We only have the cigar available here on the island, on the Dominican. It's a great cigar, a medium to full body, a lot of sweet notes. It's a very interesting cigar to smoke. And just a little bit of water for tonight for me.
Awesome. And tell us where you're broadcasting from, Ram.
I'm in Santiago, Dominican Republic.
Santiago, Dominican Republic. Is it a little warmer than 60 degrees?
It is a little bit warmer. It's probably I'm very bad in this Fahrenheit.
No, that's right. What is it in Celsius?
It's probably like 26, more or less.
26.
So you're in the upper 70s.
Yeah.
Yes.
Nicer than here.
Yeah.
Well, before we jump into the questions, Garrett, these guys have cigars going. I need to light a cigar.
You do.
So let's get that going with
the toast cam.
Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust toast cam.
When lighting your cigar, it is important to be patient, pay close attention to detail, and focus on the tobacco. In the same way, Steve Saka brings those same qualities to the ultra premium cigars of Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust. Patience, close attention, and focus on the tobacco are the qualities that Saka and Dunbarton Tobacco and Trust have become known for. From Sober Mesa to Umbagog, Dunbarton has a blend that will fit your palate, your mood, and any occasion. Visit dunbartoncigars.com to learn more. And I just fired up the Buffalo 10 Natural. And I will be pairing that with a lovely 2022 LaCroix.
Is that a 2022?
Are you sure?
I'm not. It could be.
I think that was a good season. So
that was a good year for LaCroix.
Yeah.
It actually says 2019. So
2019.
So
that one was horrible, man.
Yeah. that was the worst year for LaCroix.
That was the worst year.
You're getting
a lot of rain, you know.
Yeah.
a lot of rain, bad crop year.
Oh, and I've got a Wisconsin IPA and some Old Forester 100s, as I usually do. And I'm smoking the Buffalo 10 Maduro because this is going to have some boldness and some depth that'll stand up to, an IPA and some bourbon. So that is why I chose this one tonight. So Ram, I want to get into, before we really dive into, the blends and things like that from El Artista. We did some research on you, and we always try to do some research on our guests. And you've got a cool family history, a cool family story when it comes to tobacco. So give us a little bit of the backstory on your family when it comes to the premium tobacco business.
So my family, I'm third generation actually. We've been in the tobacco industry for a while. The company was founded by my grandfather back in 1956. he opened just a small a little factory to sell in the local market in my hometown, Tamboril, which is very close from the Santiago, the second biggest city here in the DR. And after that, he started selling nationwide. And when my father took over the company in the 90s, we started exporting our products. So yeah, we've been around for a while, growing a lot of tobacco and manufacturing as well.
And early on, when you were young, is it true that you really didn't have any interest in the cigar business or the tobacco business?
Oh yeah, I was all over the place, man.
Okay.
I was all over the place. I remember I was, a little kid. I said like, oh, I want to be a doctor. So that was my first idea of what my future will be. Uh, After that, in school, they did like a science fair, and they brought a lot of animal parts and like hearts, liver, and I became vegetarian for like 2 years after that, and had nightmares of yeah. And I'm not joking. Like that's what happened.
absolutely.
So
You're a young kid, and you have grown up in tobacco and cigars. Like, that was your father and your grandfather's livelihood. There must have been a lot of pride in that business. Was it the typical kind of growing up, I don't want to do what my parents are doing, I want to go and do my own thing, that you kind of grew into at first?
a little bit, but my parents were very smart about it.
Yeah.
They were not pushing me, like, oh, like this is what you have to do. The family's been
Awesome.
doing this for a while or anything like that. It was
Yeah.
always like, oh, you want to be a doctor? Okay, good for you.
That's awesome.
But at the same time, I was going to the factory almost every day since I was a little kid. The rule in my house was like, after I do the homework, I have to go to the factory to work. Work being around. And I never had an allowance in my house. It was more like a paycheck.
Yeah.
So I always got used to that. And in summertime, it was a little bit more serious. I spent a couple of hours every day learning new things in the factory. And every Sunday, I used to go with my father to the farms just to see how the tobacco is going. I actually all of like my best memories with my dad were either on the road or in the farms. Manipulating and learning about tobacco.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What were some of those early jobs? Are we talking sweeping floors and cleaning up, things like that?
I did a little bit of sweeping floors and cleaning up. I basically went through every single department of the factory, from the cleaning area to maintenance, cigar sorting, fermentation, cigar manufacturing, packaging, everything. I'm actually very good packaging cigars.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's tricky. It's not easy. The color sorting, from the times that I've seen color sorting in factories, I look at all those cigars lined up and I can't see a difference. And there's people who just get it just right.
I know. It's an art.
Yeah, I can't.
It really is an art.
Yeah.
And then I know that for some people that grew up in it, they either find themselves loving to either be in the fields and seeing that crop grow, or they love seeing the fermentation barns, or they love being on the rolling floor. Where did your appreciation of cigars start in this whole family business?
So I'll say in the farms mainly, but nowadays I really enjoy being in the production area. Manufacturing, packaging, and all of that. Trying to find new ideas of how to do things better, new quality standards, all of that. I think that's my passion.
That's awesome.
And take us back to the time that you first sat down, whether it's a good story or a bad story, because for some of us it's not a good story. The first time that you sat down and lit up a cigar, what was that like for you?
I was probably 14 years old in my teenage years, starting. I was in the factory and I took one cigar without nobody noticing.
Yeah.
Then back home, uh, I went to my backyard. That day there was nobody around, so I lit it up, and it was a horrible experience. Yeah,
Oh wow. Did you
yeah.
cough and almost did you vomit?
I didn't vomit, but I remember I have to go and take a shower and just lay down in bed. Cigars are not meant for kids, for sure.
Yes.
Absolutely.
That's right.
Absolutely. So through that evolution and learning from your grandfather and your father and seeing the processes in the farms and in the factories, how did that progress into you taking on the role that you have now, where you have to oversee things, and you manage the production and you manage the blending and the branding and things like that? So how did that evolve into you taking on the role that you have now? And part of that is also, what does day-to-day operation look like for you?
So for me, started liking all the process when I was probably 16, 17, more or less. But I still have my mind all over the place.
Yeah.
And in that moment of my life, I liked it probably like computer engineering or something like that. When I traveled for first time to a cigar event, which was a IPCPR, and I saw what happens with the cigars after you put it on a truck and it leaves the factory, and I discover how big of a deal all of this is, how many people live out of the in like all the retailers, and how much passion there is for cigars. And then I realized, so like, oh my God, this is actually an art, what we've been doing. And that's when I fell in love with uh, my factory. And then I went to college and I studied industrial engineering. Then in the States, I also did an associate degree in business administration. And I took those two careers mainly because I thought like this is what the factory needs in order for us to continue growing in the industry. Um, I was me that opened our operations in the United States. We have a warehouse in Miami, and I took care. I still take care of everything over there, and but now I'll say 80% of my time is focused here in the factory. The industry is growing. There's a lot of rooms to create new stuff. On the tobacco side, our operations are growing significantly as well. So most of my time is, working in the production line, making sure there are not bottlenecks in some rooms, and renovating. We've been in the last 4 years, we've been renovating all of our facilities.
Okay.
And yeah, I mean, here is where I'm spending most of my time. It used to be in the States mainly, but now I'm focused here in the Dominican.
So if over the last 20 years, we've got a lot of new farms, new fields, new countries that are producing tobacco. When did your family start importing tobacco from other regions and countries to start playing with blends? When did that happen?
It had started in the 90s with the cigar boom.
Okay.
My father always tells me this story about this company in particular that is very big in the tobacco trading side. That he was able to buy around 12 bales of American Connecticut tobacco, and he needed 2 bales, so he got it, and the rest he sold it. It was during the cigar boom, so tobacco was hard to get and it was very expensive. he was buying at source, so he was able to make a lot of money out of those 10 bales. With that, he started buying more, more, and more until we became their biggest customer here on the island. So tobacco trading, we've been doing that since the 90s. And right now, we actually have operations in Ecuador as well. And we are doing our growing ourselves over there as well.
Oh, very cool.
And do you remember back into the let's say that I don't remember exactly when it was, so I'll ask you, do you happen to know when, as far as pricing goes, because I know the boom, like you said, prices were really high, and then it reached a point where things leveled off and prices started to go down, and then they sort of hit a low point, and then obviously they started to go up again because we're sort of in another cigar boom right now. Not as big as maybe the one in the 90s, but it's definitely a lot of people buying cigars and a lot of people trading tobacco right now. When do you think the prices sort of hit their low point and started to go back up?
So I'm not that old, but I'll say
I am.
yeah, I'll say it in the early 2000s.
Okay.
I remember tobacco was very affordable in that time, and we were importing a lot of tobacco from Asia, which was extremely cheap. And yeah, now on the tobacco trading side, filler prices have been going up in the last 2 years. Oof, at least 120%.
Wow.
And if you're able to get it, yeah. And yeah, things are a little bit more crazy now. Even that Asian tobacco that used to be very cheap, and that most of the factory use it a lot because it's actually good and affordable, nowadays is very expensive. So
Yeah.
people are looking for alternative for value smoke cigars.
Yeah.
So right now we are in that point where things are getting a little bit more complicated. I believe if things continue like that, probably next year or the year after, uh, there's gonna be a little bit of a shortage of tobacco, which now there is, but there's a shortage. I'll say that it's under control, kind of.
Okay.
Yeah.
And talk us through tobacco trading. So, I think most of us understand, from farm and, different factories, different manufacturers will buy X amount of tobacco. But when you talk about tobacco trading, what does that look like for you guys?
So first of all, that's a great question, and I've been doing this for a while, and it's the first time somebody asked me that. So good.
Awesome.
Yeah. Tobacco trading, there's many things involved. So locally, for example, for Dominican tobacco, everything starts in the farms. Uh, Most of us, the growers, either have farms, but we also work with different farmers. Um, it's a little bit depending on the amount of business and how you handle it. Sometimes it's a little bit complicated, I'll say. In our case, for example, we have a team of agronomists that they have to visit all of the farms that we grow. Farming in this country is not as it is in other places. This is a tiny island with a lot of people, so farms are usually very small, and so there's a bunch of traveling involved in this.
Mhm.
And we need to make sure they have the right seed and they apply the right products to the crop. Uh, so the way we operate is that we provide the seeds, we provide a, a, all the technical details of how to grow the tobacco the way we do, and they have to apply the products that we usually use depending on how the crop is evolving. This is mainly because we need to guarantee that what we're growing there is not gonna be harmful for the people in the future, that they are not using weird chemicals or anything like that. So we take that very seriously. Uh, Other than that, we are actually part of a program that is called LiveTC, which is social responsibility in farming. So we have a program where we need to track down that there's no underage people working in any of our farms or the farmers that we are working with. We need to make sure that all the pesticides are being disposed on the proper way, and they are just working the way they should, and that everybody is good and healthy. There's no modern slavery or anything like that.
Mhm.
Yeah. So after that, when you have all of your tobacco, usually most of the business is done in futures. Like for example, right now we are selling a 22, 23 crop. So we are getting asking our customers what do they need in the future in order for us to start growing
Mm.
after summer ends. Uh, is more or less the same when you start working with other countries. In Ecuador, is basically the same because we grow, but then tobacco trading on countries where we just buy the tobacco ready to go
Mhm.
uh, is a little bit different. It's more of getting the right distributor that can give you the right product. We have one member that is always traveling, to Indonesia, to Central South America, just making sure we get the tobacco that we need. Um, Lastly, there are some very big companies that also buys tobacco, not necessarily for cigars, but for
Mhm.
like in Africa, there's a product called Cigarello, which
Yep.
is a dark tobacco cigarette. There are very big corporations over there that they buy a lot of tobacco from here, from Dominican Republic. Uh, that's another side of the trading, which is a little bit more like boring and corporate.
Mhm.
A lot of contract signing and all of that. And yeah, in a nutshell, that's kind of what tobacco trading is, I guess.
That's fantastic. And I'm guessing you're not the only one in that game, and you're probably competing with some other bigger factories in trading. So, is there we love the relationship part of the cigar industry. Is that key and pivotal to getting the tobaccos that you need for your customers?
Oh yes, absolutely, absolutely. And same as in cigar making, where we all work as colleagues, trying to solve problems and going from A to B together. Uh, Tobacco trading, there are a lot of new people, and usually they are a little bit more aggressive, and they kind of don't understand. Like they
Mhm.
usually don't last very long, kind of because of that. But
Okay.
Sure.
here in the Dominican, there are a lot of traditional families that are been growing for decades tobacco, and it's a little bit as it is in the cigar making side. So
Okay.
it's beautiful. It's as beautiful as cigar manufacturing.
Yeah. So one of the things that we love to learn about from one factory to another is obviously there are a lot of things about cigar making that are similar. When you can go to 20 different cigar factories and see a lot of things that look mostly the same. But there are the little differences that come along. When it comes to the blending process for El Artista, how does the blending process work? Who participates in the blending process, and how do you collaborate and work together to decide on which tobaccos go into a blend?
So at El Artista, different from most of the factories, there's the fact that there's not a master blender per se. Decisions are usually made as a group. Uh, Usually, I'm the one that come with the project. Like this is what we're looking for, and we start blending. Most of the cigars that are under the Artista Cigars brand were blended by me. But for example, Cimarron, that was blended by the idea and the composition was not chosen by me. It was created by actually the production manager, and we all agreed that this is a great blend, and we should use it. Uh, and all of the cigars that I blend myself are brought to the table, to the smoking panel, where we decide whether it's a good blend or not. I think that's kind of the main difference that we have comparing to other factories.
Hmm. And a viewer question, and I think it's a great question, is there a problem with other factories stealing good rollers from other factories? Does that happen?
So nowadays, it's kind of becoming a problem,
Okay.
but it's not a huge problem, I'll say.
Okay.
Okay.
At least all the big factories and like old factories that have been around, we talk to each other,
Yeah.
and we know what's going on. Usually, if a person decides to leave and go somewhere else, we don't make a big deal about it,
Hmm.
unless that person leaves on a bad way. You
Right.
know, like, oh, he was stealing tobacco, or he was, intentionally making bad cigars,
Right.
or something like that. Uh, we have a unwritten gentleman agreement that we all respect, and we try to avoid to do that.
Mhm.
Yeah. No, that's good. And we've heard that in, from factories like in Nicaragua, for example, in Esteli, there's so many factories, packed into that tight little area in Esteli.
Yep.
And a lot of the factories and people who manage those factories say the same kind of thing, where it does happen where and I think there might be a little more poaching
Yeah.
in Esteli than there
Yeah.
is in
That's what I heard too.
Santiago. Yeah. But it is nice to hear, because like Garrett said, that it's so strongly built on relationships between people in the industry, and everybody knows everybody else, and you try to, it's you're competitive companies, but at the same time you're cooperating together to make the industry better as a whole, and that's I think a good thing.
Hmm.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So as baseball fans,
Mm.
we have to, we're not only are we big baseball fans, and also big fans of David Ortiz, because he was, at least for a few years, he was a Minnesota Twin. And we know he made his name for himself as a member of the Boston Red Sox.
Sorry.
uh,
Sorry. That was an
and
accident.
won, brought championships back to Boston for baseball. And but besides the fact that he's a native Dominican and he is a true lover of fine cigars, so how did the process begin with him uh becoming a part of the El Artista family?
So we met David because we've been sponsoring his golf tournament for a while, and he was always next to the rolling cigar roller, smoking cigars and just talking to us. So we got closer and closer, and one day I told him, like, hey, you like cigars so much, you should come to the factory and blend some cigars with us. He told me that he will do it and that he will call us. I thought he was just being polite,
Yeah.
but a couple of weeks after, I got a call from one of his assistants here on the island, to set a date to see when he can come to the factory. And it happened. We start blending, and all of a sudden, we're making cigars for Big Papi. Eh, that cigar, we were initially just making a couple of cigars for him and for his friends to share, shipping to him every now and then, every 1 or 2 months. Uh, when he announced that he was going to retire, I asked him, like, hey, like, do you have interest in making this commercial? And he liked the idea, so one day, like, we draft an agreement, and one day I get this call from his manager. David wants to sign the contract. Can you come tomorrow? I was like, okay, yeah. Where should I go? Fort Myers.
Fort Myers.
Fort Myers.
Yes, I was like,
Wow.
okay, no problem. So I just take a flight to Miami and drive to Fort Myers. It turns out that day was the last spring training game that he was gonna play.
Oh wow.
And like, everybody here loved baseball, but it's not until you are on a stadium watching almost everybody with a big Papi jersey,
Yeah.
one with signs all over the place, that that's where I realized, like, oh man, like this can be something really big.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and after that, the agreement said that we were not able to sell the product until the season for Boston was over.
Yeah.
So we had to wait until it happened, and it's all history from there.
Yeah. Well, and it's you can really tell, because the first time I tried that blend, everybody's been in that experience where they see a cigar that's branded by a celebrity. It could be somebody from the movies, it could be a sports figure, and it's branded with a celebrity's name. And sometimes, you know that it's just going to be a cigar that's okay, that's got somebody's name on it. But you could tell when the first time I smoked that blend, which was not long after it was released, you could tell that cigar was put together by people who care about premium tobacco. It was evident in the blend. You could taste it and smell it in the blend,
and see it in the construction.
and
Thank you.
So it's you guys, not to throw puns around, but you guys truly knocked it out of the park.
Thank you very much.
And now with the guys from Two Guys Cigars, you're doing the Firecracker, which is awesome, because the Firecracker is such a cool project from different brands getting to make that little short cigar. And so obviously you guys put that cigar together, but what does David know? What does he know about the Firecracker project? And is he is he excited to know that he's because he's also got the Hall of Fame, which is fantastic. So does he know about the Firecracker project, and is he excited to be a part of that?
Absolutely. And
nice.
By the way, if you guys get to see one of those boxes, there's a QR code that if you scan it, it will send you to a video of David talking about the blend. So he was involved in the project. We just don't use his name. Like, he's actually very serious about his products, and he's always pushing us. There's actually something really cool that hopefully we're gonna be able to make it this year on his lineup of products. And yeah, he's been involved in the project since Dave brought it to us. And yeah, there are also, by the way, 10 boxes that he personally signed.
Oh, nice.
Yes. And we did like a Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory scheme where we just randomly put it in a carton, so nobody knows who is gonna get those one of those signed boxes. And there's a special video on those boxes as well.
That's very cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah, and it's as fans of the game of baseball and fans of him as a player, and also honestly fans of El Artista Cigars, it's a great partnership, and I hope it just keeps going.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
And I have to check in on the cigar. So for those of you, if you guys, I've smoked a few of these Buffalo 10 Maduros. So, and I'm going to let our viewers know and our listeners know that this Buffalo 10 Maduro, first of all, the price point is fantastic on these cigars. And second of all, there is so much natural sweetness from this Maduro. The retrohale is super smooth. There's no bite. There's no harshness. So if you guys are fans of Maduros with natural sweetness and a really smooth retrohale, you guys have to pick up some of these cigars, because it has become one of my favorite good, sweet. Oh, I just can't say enough about it. So well done.
Yeah, and likewise, the natural has a lot of sweetness to it as well. And while I'm talking about this, if you could look for John's earlier message question about this particular cigar since we're talking about it. This Buffalo 10, if you could talk about the creation of this and the shape, the extreme, thinness and, box press, what was the process like in making this cigar?
So, there's a bunch of box press out there.
Yeah.
We just wanted to do something different. So that's why we even call it like soft box press. We just press it a little bit more, and I like the fact that it's not just your everyday, like very square box press cigar. This is a little bit more like flat.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's just us trying to be a little bit more different.
Well, and for those who, don't know, you can't just roll a cigar and decide to squish the piss out of it and get this shape. There is, you have to engineer a roll that will take that shape. Is that correct?
That's correct. The amount of filler is different, and it's a process. You need to make sure you have the right wrapper, that you have the right binder, that the weight of the cigar is correct, and also you need to have the right tray.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Fantastic. This is just a fantastic line. And for our viewers and listeners, at the end of the show, we'll tell you where you guys can get these. So,
and I also had a question because I was looking at all the different brands and blends under the El Artista family. What is out of all the different blends and facings, which one is the oldest? Which one has been around the longest?
So when we started with the operations in Miami, the oldest one, the first one what we released was Exactus.
Okay.
Yes, but the oldest brand per se is Cimarron. Cimarron, we actually been making that cigar since the 90s, mid 90s, more or less.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because so was that one only available in Dominican for a long time? Because I don't remember seeing it in the States until the last few years, or did I just miss it?
We were not that oriented to the U.S. market.
Okay.
There was a little bit of presence of it, but just tiny. Just
Oh yeah.
I'll say no more than 10 stores in the whole country.
Okay. Yeah, and that's because I didn't try that Cimarron until I want to say 3 or 4 years ago, and that the Maduro, for me, liking more full-bodied cigars, the Maduro, the Cimarron and the Maduro, really enjoy that cigar very much.
mm-hmm.
And that's the one that caught my attention. So as we're looking forward to the rest of 2022, are you guys planning on being at the PCA trade show in July?
Absolutely.
Fantastic.
Absolutely.
Excellent. So, we have to ask we know everybody's always working on cool new stuff in the background. Are you guys working on some new stuff that maybe we'll see in the next few months?
We are working in a lot of new cool stuff.
Nice.
The main one that hopefully is going to be the release in PCA is called the Paperboy. It's a small 4x44 cigar that is coming in a 10-pack. Very good price point as well. And yeah, that's probably going to be our main release on PCA. But we have a couple of other projects on the lineup for this year.
Nice. No, that's
Awesome.
cool. And I like that. I like that idea of having a small format cigar for us who live in cold weather.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes having a cigar that doesn't take long to smoke is a good thing.
You should try our Fogly as well.
Any Lanceros on the horizon?
Not for now. I love Lanceros, and I
Mhm.
actually made an excellent Lancero cigar in a Lancero side that I kind of want to release it. I just haven't found like where to put it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I will be a big advocate for you if that decides to happen. So
Yeah.
just know that you've got a cheerleader over here.
Yeah,
All
Garrett,
right.
Garrett goes crazy for Lanceros. All right, so I think
Oh,
is it
okay.
time?
I think it's time.
It is now time for this week's Numero de los Muertos. And as always, Numero de los Muertos is brought to us by our friends at Smoke Inn. All right, guys, and don't forget, go to smokein.com and use the coupon code HBTC15 for 15% off your order. Smokein.com. Episode 151. Garrett, what do you have for us this week?
Well, first, I'd like to give a shout out to John Lovell, who we were honored to meet at the Great Smoke in Florida a few weeks ago, and he threatened me.
Real threats?
Real threats.
Real
He
threats.
said, if you stop doing my favorite segment, I'm not going to watch your show anymore.
No,
It was all in good fun, but we appreciate the love and getting to meet people who watch the show. It's very humbling.
absolutely.
All right. So this week for episode 151, we have got 20 on average. This is a 20-year average on average. 27 people a year die from this in the U.S.
All right. So as always, viewers, leave your guesses in the comments. So Ram and I together are going to play 20 questions with Garrett. The number's 27 people a year on average in the U.S. die from this. Okay. So, and we can narrow down information, Ram, on this. So we can say, is it so for instance, I'll say, is it a workplace accident?
It is not.
All right.
It is not medical. Chad, you probably need to settle down on the spring cleaning a little bit. No, and I know it can get real. Like we started a purge this last weekend as well. Buffalo attacks. It's interesting.
It's a good guess.
That is a good guess.
It's very topical.
Yeah. It is not water related.
Okay, so is it related with an animal?
It is.
Okay. That's a very good question. So let's keep that going. All right. So it is animal related. It's the United States. It's 27 people a year. What else? What else?
Marine animals? Water?
No, not water related.
No water related. Oh, you just said that.
No. Not ram attacks. Pun, I'm sure intended, which is adorable. I kind of like it.
That's a good one, Chad. I like that. Okay, animal related. Are these animals that people ride?
No.
Not
stick in the eye, not snake bite. No, it is not. I wouldn't. Poisonous. It's not, or venomous. No.
Are these animals typically domesticated household animals?
No, they are not.
No.
Okay, wild animals. And are they like carnivore, like meat eaters, like cannibal animals?
Oh yeah, carnivore.
Carnivores.
Carnivores?
Yep, carnivore. They are, well, they can be, but it's not specific carnivores.
They can, so that means they eat anything basically, like eat.
Correct. And to be clear, we're not talking about one specific animal.
Okay. And only 27, so it's not like
It's not a big number,
right.
but here, let me throw out some other numbers for you guys.
Yeah.
So here's some clues. The people that are involved in this statistic, the most are in Texas with about 1 million a year. The next state is Pennsylvania with about 800,000 a year. And then Minnesota and Wisconsin are tied for about 600,000 a year that are involved in this statistic.
So these, but only 27 deaths.
Correct.
So these are like injuries or encounters.
Nope. These are all the people that are involved in this thing.
Okay, but it's not a domesticated animal.
Correct.
Being like no farm animal, no bees,
farmed.
no.
Mm-mm.
Okay.
They are both larger than humans and some are smaller than humans. Not allergies.
This is a very
Well,
tough-
there is an okay. It could be larger or
Mm-hmm.
bigger than human.
Mm-hmm. And again, not specific. So we are talking multi-animal situation here.
And the animals directly cause the death of the human. They don't directly cause it.
Mm-mm.
The most are in Texas. The second most are in Pennsylvania.
Mm-hmm.
Those states aren't even remotely related.
Exactly.
And then
Thank you.
Yeah.
I was thinking when he said Texas, I thought wild boars, but I don't think there are many wild boars in Pennsylvania.
well, there might be, but none in Minnesota or Wisconsin.
And people usually die after they eat them.
Mm-mm.
No.
No. So it's not like hunt related or anything like that.
Ooh, it is.
Okay.
Oh, it's hunting related.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's when you shoot the wrong animal and you kill your hunting mate.
Yes. That's it.
Holy
Really?
shit, you
You
got it.
Ram.
Get out of here. Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's for people shooting other people, other hunters.
Or themselves on accident.
Or
Yep.
My mind is.
Yeah, they're like, oh, there's something on my shotgun.
Wow.
Yeah.
That is blowing my mind. So people shooting themselves or shooting another hunter while they're hunting.
Correct. And just to show, so 27 a year on hunting accident side, compared with on average 489 is the total number of annual accidental shooting deaths in the US, and only 27 of those are hunting related. But what I was fascinated with is that Minnesota and Wisconsin are the tied for third for most hunting states licenses given out each year. On average, about 600,000.
And they're not big states.
And they're not huge
but
states.
There's a lot of hunters.
A lot of hunters.
And we know from living up here that hunting is like a
way of life.
It's like it's like a religious holiday when it's hunting season. People take off work, they take off school to go hunting.
Yeah.
When the season's open.
Yeah, Chad, I did do one similar, but it wasn't specific to. No, I did look. And this is why we got to get the spreadsheet up and running, because I'm starting to run out of.
See, Chad, because Chad has like that smart mind that remembers everything.
Yeah.
That we do on the subjects on the show. So it's time to sit down, take a couple hours one Sunday and sit down and work out a spreadsheet so we remember what topics have been done in the past.
Exactly.
That was very good. So that was this week's Numero de los Muertos. All right, so let's jump into this week's lightning round. And lightning round is brought to us by our friends at J.C. Newman Cigar Company. They are America's oldest family-owned premium cigar maker, creators of the popular Brick House, Perla Del Mar, Diamond Crown, and The American. J.C. Newman Cigar Company operates out of their 112-year-old El Reloj factory in historic Cigar City, Tampa, Florida. For more information on their cigars or their visitor experience, please visit jcnewman.com. So, Ram, we have some non-cigar related questions for you. And the first one is, if you could hear the thoughts of one living person for 10 minutes, who would it be and why?
For 10 minutes of one living person.
Yeah. You could hear what they're thinking.
How can I make money out of that? Hold on.
Yeah. There you go. There you go.
For 10 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah. Anybody like a big CEO that is about to make a big announcement.
That's
that's a very good one.
Who would I missed it?
Any big CEO.
Oh yeah,
any big CEO.
Yeah. Or even like Elon Musk to get some
the insider information.
Yeah.
Before it
what's
public.
gonna happen with Dogecoin?
Dogecoin. Yeah.
All right. So Ram, if you were about to get into a fight, what would your soundtrack music be?
My soundtrack, probably anything from System of the Down, just to make my blood run.
Yes, that's a great answer. That's a first time.
I think it is.
That's a great answer. All right, so choose one of the following. You could hit a home run as a starting pitcher. You could score a touchdown as a defensive lineman. You could score a goal in a hockey game as the goalie, or you could score a goal in a soccer game as the goalie.
I'm lost.
Are you a sports guy?
Más o menos.
Yeah.
More or less.
So in baseball, you could either hit a home run as the pitcher, or in American football. Do you know much about American football?
Not that much.
Okay,
Not that much about American.
Scratch American football. Ice hockey.
Have
you seen that? You can score a goal in ice hockey as the goalie, or in football, you could score a goal as the goalie.
Okay, they all suck.
That is
I mean, I guess the home run as a pitcher.
Okay.
Yeah. Did you play baseball?
I'm Dominican, so I was forced to play baseball.
What did you play?
It's mandatory.
Did you play all the positions?
I play all the positions. I was not very good at it.
You and me. Both.
Yeah. Same here. They put me in. They put me in right field.
Which
right field is like when you get put in right field, it's like, okay, I'm not very good at this game. That's why I get put in right field. That's why I got put out there. All right, so let's move into this week's Notable Smokable. And Notable Smokables are brought to us by our friends at Ace Prime. Notable cigars, notable passion, notable purpose. So each week we name a cigar that we smoked recently that was notable to us. It could be a cigar that's been on the market for decades that we just tried for the first time in a long time, or it could be something brand new that we've tried for the first time ever. So Ram, obviously you're smoking mostly stuff from El Artista. Do you get a chance to smoke stuff from outside of your brand? And if so, did you have something recently that caught your interest?
I'm always checking what's around, and being a big player in the tobacco trading, we receive a lot of visitors on the factory. And lately, the last cigar that I smoked, it was actually one from Davidoff. I don't know the brand, like what's the commercial name, because it was naked when it was given to me. But it had a beautiful Connecticut Ecuador wrapper. I wonder where they got it. And that cigar was fantastic. I'm not a big Connecticut guy, but that cigar was mild to medium, but it was sweet. It had some very good flavor, a little bit of complexity. I really enjoyed it. I really did. And I remember it was a Corona size.
Okay. Yeah, that's my wheelhouse there. Garrett, what was your notable this week?
Well, you already know.
I do.
You already know. And we didn't even have to say anything.
Yeah.
And you know. So yesterday was my birthday. And I smoked, a lot of great cigars yesterday. But one stood out amongst the rest. And it was the Davidoff Year of the Tiger.
Yeah. Yeah, we smoked those together over at Sodi's cigar shop. And
That, you guys, and Matt, when we were smoking it, you hit it on the head. When I want to know how they made that tobacco look like tiger stripes.
The wrapper leaf. They made the wrapper leaf look like it's tiger stripes. Now, obviously, that's not a natural process. We understand that, but it looks really good. It was
beautiful,
and it smokes fantastically,
oh my
and it
gosh.
tastes really good.
It was out of this
and
world.
A shout out to our friend Todd for this beautiful cigar.
Thank you very much, Todd.
And my notable this week was from Dapper Cigars. And Dapper is a brand that I've, it's kind of been gaining some popularity over the last few years, and I've enjoyed a lot of their blends. And this was the Dapper Siempre Rosado in the Robusto size. And that Rosado Habano wrapper leaf, it's more they call it Rosado.
I know
it looks Oscuro to me, but I don't care what they call it. It tastes really good. It burned great. So that was a nice cigar, definitely. So that was this week's Notable Smokables, brought to us by Ace Prime, improving lives through fine cigars. Please visit aceprime.com to learn more. So to give our viewers and listeners an idea of what we have coming up next week, we have none other than Jonathan Carney from La Flor Dominicana on the show on the 28th. So Ram, if you would please give our viewers and listeners the kind of a final push. Where is the best place for them to get all the latest info on El Artista Cigars?
Social media, we are on Facebook, on Instagram, on Twitter as well. Also, our website, elartistacigars.com. Our social media is El Artista Cigars. That's where you're gonna get most of the information of what's going on with El Artista.
Excellent.
Okay, totally off topic. I know we're ending the show, but do you guys ever have that? So I almost never have my ringer on my cell phone. It's almost always on vibrate.
Same here.
Okay.
Same
do you
here.
ever have the phantom buzz? Like I'm looking at my phone right here. All of a sudden, I felt what felt like my phone buzzing in my pocket. And I seriously, while looking at my phone, checked my pocket for my phone because I thought it just vibrated in my pocket.
I get that all the time.
Does that happen?
So that's from back and this is showing my age a little bit, but that's from back in my BlackBerry days. Because if anybody who ever, back in the early 2000s, if you carried a BlackBerry, the vibrate in those Blackberries was so strong. You could feel it like 6 counties away.
Yeah.
And I would always have that thing in my pocket, and the vibrate was so strong that to this day I still have that phantom feeling where it's my phone goes off and I feel for my pocket and my phone's not there.
Right.
I still get that.
I just had that and it was really weird and I just had to bring it up. See, I'm not crazy.
You're not crazy. Well, a little bit, but in the best possible way. Ram, brother, thank you so much for being on the show tonight. We had a great conversation. We hope you had a good time with us tonight.
I had a blast. Thank you, guys. It was a really fun and a real pleasure.
Oh, and real quick, I said we would tell people. I know that they can follow you on social media, but do you have a website or somewhere where people can find a retailer that's closest to them? And if not, maybe an online retailer that carries El Artista?
Yes, elartistacigars.com. There's a map. You just put your zip code and you can check over there.
Perfect.
Fantastic.
Awesome. Thank you. Hang out in the green room so we can say a proper goodbye after the show, and we'll hang it up.
All right. So for viewers and listeners, guys, as always, we are so grateful to you guys for watching How About That Cigar Live. Thank you so much for continuing to watch the show, episode 151 and counting. We're excited. We have some great stuff coming up in the near future. So continue to watch and listen. Be sure to go on to the YouTube channel and not only watch the show, but subscribe to the channel. And on Facebook, thank you so much for following us. Make sure to hit the like button on Facebook and follow us on social media at HBT Cigar. And for the listeners on the audio podcast, be sure to not only listen to the episodes, make sure you subscribe so you never miss a new episode. And like I said, all the social media outlets, you follow us at HBT Cigar. And of course, as always, burn cigars,
not bridges.
Thanks, guys. See
Thanks,
ya.
everybody.